everyone, my name's Lisa. I own a small crochet business called My Darling Dear Crochet, and in this video I'm going to show you all the plushies I crocheted in May. So first up is the leggy froggy. The pattern is by Not Jaded Co. Look at the little feet. And if you have crocheted plushies for any length of time, you've probably come across this pattern and made a few yourself. And so this month I made 4 leggy froggies, and I like to make them in all the colors of the rainbow. These are great to have in stock. You can crank them out real quick, but for markets, I like to have these for my $10 and under inventory, because I found at the markets I've gone to that $10 and under items are your bread and butter. That's what kids can usually afford. They make great little stocking stuffers, and that's the amount of money that some people want to spend. So I like to have several leggy froggies. My next one is also a frog. This guy is the No Sew Pocket Frog. He is by Yarn Society. He has the little baubles for legs. He's just so chubby, and I like his little hooded eyes. This is also very quick. I only made one of these this month, but I would like to do more. Okay, also an aquatic creature. I made some Scout the Sea Turtles, and this was a new one that I did this month, and he is super quick and easy, and you can really make a bunch of these too in one session. If you sit down for an hour, you can make several. And so I made 5 of these this month. Also great, of course, for your small items for markets that cost less than $10. And Scout the Sea Turtle is Crochet by Callie. Next, also still with the water theme, I made one octo in May. I mean, who hasn't made octos, right? There's all kinds of patterns, all kinds of sizes. This one I would call a medium size octo. And I've had great luck with these at markets. I've sold all different sizes. I've sold keychains that are really small, and I've sold some bigger, plushier ones. This one is actually the pattern, oh, he's got some fuzz, by Crochet by Jenna, but I changed it a little bit. Instead of doing kind of the ruffle legs that she has on hers, I made some curly Q ones. And I did that by making a chain, like, I don't remember, 10 or 15 chains, and then putting 2 double crochets in each chain going back up. So 1 octo in May. All right, still on the small side for my $10 and under market inventory. I made some little chicks, and this guy is by Atomic Crochet, and I made several of these in the car on a road trip. Very simple. I think he's all no sew, if I'm remembering correctly. I may have had to sew the wings on. Don't quote me on that, I'm not entirely sure. But I made 3 of these. I want to make at least 10 to take to a market. So here, oh, he looks angry. Okay, but he's still cute. It's probably the cartoon eyes, the way they're angled. But anyway, Atomic Crochet, little chick, super easy. Next are the whales, which whales are kind of everywhere on Pinterest, whale patterns. I don't even remember which one this is, honestly, because there's so many out there and so many that are similar to each other. I love the little curly tails and the little fins. This is Parfait Chunky, and I made 4 parfait chunky whales. This purple guy, and then this one. And then I made one out of Bernat blanket. And I don't usually make plushies with this variegated yarn, but I had just enough to do a whale, so you can see the size difference between Bernat blanket and parfait chunky. The next set of plushies are getting a little bit bigger. I made this darling little duckling. Look at the feathers on his head. Oh, and his little tail is super cute. Little head feathers. But this duckling was very simple. You can see it's just, his body's all one piece. And you just start with the bottom and make increases for the head, decrease for the neck first, and then increase for the head. And this little duckling is by Easy Crochet Plushies. And the name kind of says it all right there because he really was. So I want to make a few more of these. The pattern also has a modification to make a mallard and maybe a chicken. I'm not sure. Okay, similar body shape but completely different is this little baby unicorn. And I think he's very cute. Look at his little horn. And then he's got a very colorful mane and tail. This pattern was by Katerina Sidorova. She's Puffy Bunny on Instagram, and I love the little puffs, different colored puffs, puff stitches, bobble stitches for its legs. But right around here, it got pretty complicated. And maybe I was making it more complicated than it was, and I don't really remember why that was the case. But his little eyebrows. I think he's super cute. I don't know that I'll make this pattern again, just because of the complication right there. It was just done differently than I'd seen it done before, is probably what it was. But what I might do is take this Easy Duckling body and modify it into a unicorn because they're so similar. We'll see, I'm not sure. Okay, I love this next pattern. I made Marcel the baby monkey. Okay, so he's got just a real simple little face. Look, he has thumbs. Wait, okay. Look at his little thumbs. And he's got the same on his feet. So he is no sew, except the only thing you do have to sew is the head to the body. His tail, his legs, his arms, and his little ears are all crocheted in. So this pattern is Stitches by Patty. So I made 2 brown ones, and I don't really consider myself a fast crocheter. I might be getting better after 4 years, I don't know, but I was able to make these medium-size plushies pretty quickly. They're very simple, nothing complex about these. So 2 brown ones, and then I made a pink one, and I just love this one. So I want to make all the monkeys of the rainbow. If you have ever seen a crochet hook, you have probably seen a Mabel chicken and probably made a dozen or so yourself. And I have several chickens already made. This is the Mabel chicken by Oak and Marlowe. Very easy, nothing hard about this at all. It wasn't really on my agenda to make any more this month because I feel like I have my chickens covered for my next market. But I found this Bernat blanket tweed, and I knew I had to get it and make a chicken because look at it. Doesn't that look chickeny? Anyway, I will be making an army of chickens out of this tweed. Okay, we're going off the farm now to some wild animals. And I have a happy hippo. I mean, that's what he's called. He's Happy the Hippo. And this pattern is by Crochet. And he is completely no-sew. He's got the little bobble legs. He's got a tiny little tail. And his ears, I just love his cute little ears. He's even got nostrils. So I think these are maybe 3 double crochet in a stitch, something like that. But he's all one piece, so he's super easy. And I would love to do some different color, maybe some blue and pink and green hippos. So Crochet, Happy the Hippo. Only made one. Okay, we did a sloth. So he's still kind of small, but you do have to do some sewing for him. You make the arms separately and sew them on. You make the eye patches separately, and then you put the safety eye through the patch and the head. And then you, of course, sew the head to the body. But his face is really simple, but it screams sloth. And I would love to make a pink one of this with dark pink and then like a powder pink for the rest of him. This pattern it's called Teeny Pal Sloth by Madeline Mako. So there's the sloth. I just did one. I was kind of wanting to try out a bunch of different patterns this month, so I didn't sit and do 10 of a pattern, but I will be going back and making more sloths. Back to the farm now. This little guy is called Millie the Moo Moo. I just love that name, Millie the Moo Moo. And I also made her in the car on a road trip. And this cow, I've made cows before, but this one is the first one I've made where you crochet the color change in as you go. And I like it up here. I'm not sure how I feel about this. The thing that I don't like is all these little stray colors where they don't belong. And you can see, like inside there, you can see the white underneath. Maybe that's where I carried the yarn. I don't know. But it comes across a little messy to me. I love her head. Okay, the head is great. I don't know. On the other hand, the ones where you crochet a spot by itself and then attach it, sometimes those can kind of look like weird growths. So I'm not sure which one I like best. So what do you think? If you've made a cow, which way do you like to do it best? And just sitting here holding him, I realized he doesn't have a tail. Now, like I said, I did make him in the car, so I don't know if I just didn't do it or if it's not in the pattern. I'll have to go back and look, but I think he needs a tail. Okay, Millie the Moo Moo. This is by the Cozy Stitch. One of my favorites from May was, I don't know what you call him, Baby Yoda, Grogu, Baby Alien. The pattern is called Yoda Bomb. I just love that name. But you know, there's a ton of these patterns out there for all different kinds of Grogu's, Baby Yodas. But this one I thought was just super cute, and he's so simple. Look at his little face. He does have a little nose that you stitch on afterwards. And then just the big safety eyes. I don't remember. I'm sorry. And I'm not sure who this pattern is actually by. I have it printed out. but I couldn't find it. So I'll try to find it and link it with the designer's name and the size of the safety eyes. They're big. They might be like 25 millimeter, maybe. We'll see how close I can come to that. But the only things you sew on him are his arms and his ears. Now his little, oh, you have to sew the collar on, but that's just a couple of stitches right there in the back. So you're not sewing it to the alien, you're just sewing the ends to each other. And this little collar is hiding this, but see, you just do a color change and make increases for his head. So that part is really easy too. Yoda Mom. Now this next one, I'm not super proud of. I didn't like the yarn that I used on him. But this is the Baby Cakes Bunny, Baby Cake Bunny by Nina's Time. Nina's Time is the designer, and he's cute. He's got a little tail and cute little overalls, but I wanted him to be fuzzy, and so I used a baby yarn that's really fuzzy, and I think it's one that I got a couple years ago when it was on clearance at Hobby Lobby. So I made them, I doubled the strands because it was really thin. It was a 3-weight. So I made him and I thought, well, he's not fuzzy enough. So I tried to brush the yarn, and it didn't turn out well. Because if the yarn is not like smoothed down, that's what you get. So I don't like that part. The simple little face is exactly like it is in the pattern. That's what it's supposed to be. But I made one before when I first, well, it was one of the first few plushies that I made, and I made it according to the pattern. So this is what it's supposed to look like. So you can see the size difference. This one is cotton yarn, which I don't use for plushies anymore because it's pretty stiff. It's not cuddly at all. But this one just stays in my studio, and he's got the little overalls and the little tail. So this one I like. This one, I don't know. He may go in my bargain basket at a market. I made 3 of my next item, and they're not quite finished because I need to embroider the eyes, and I hate that. Does anyone else hate embroidery as much as I do? I do not enjoy it at all. I feel like I'm not good at it, but you need to do it for baby safe toys. So anyway, I have these are cuddle-sized baby jellies, and the pattern is by Little Crochet Farm, and I'm gonna do some sleepy eyes right there, which really aren't that hard to do, but it really bothers me if they're not perfectly even, which is almost impossible to achieve when you're crocheting in spirals, because the farther over you go from the first eye, the farther you go, the less likely it is to be even, because you're going in a spiral, so it slants. But anyway, I really like, look at the little ruffle right there. I think these are really cute, and I've made 2 before that I've taken to markets, and I've sold one. They're darling with the sleepy eyes, and I really prefer that look to the safety eyes on these anyway. And I've read and heard that sometimes NICUs like to give these to the babies because they will hold on to the little tentacles instead of grabbing at their wires and stuff. So I have the yellow and pink, and I did a dark blue and a light blue, and then this kind of watermelon looking one with the mint green and the darker pink. Cuddle-sized jellyfish. The next one I'm gonna keep for myself because he's a little deer and I am my darling dear Crochet. So look at his little antlers. He's got cute little ears. His face is very simple. There's nothing like fancy about it, but I think that's what makes it cute. And then you do have to sew everything on him, even the little tummy patch. That's one of those that you sew separately, or you crochet separately and sew it on. This pattern is by Amigurumi. But I want to make several more deer to have in my studio for my darling dear crochet studio. So a lot of sewing on this one, but I think it's worth it. All right, the next one I've been wanting to make for a long time, and I'm not sure I did him justice, but this is the ice cream cone by Wonder Crochet. And this is, his cone is parfait chunky, and his ice cream is also supposed to be parfait chunky, the pom-pom, which I didn't have. But I had this, and this was some older yarn that I just had a little bit of, well, just enough to do this. And it's not plush. Let me see if I can, it's not a plush yarn. This is actually Baby Bee Sugar Pom Pom. So I thought, well, I'll just try that. And it looks okay, I think. But this yarn is really kind of rough. And when you're crocheting with it for like any length of time, you know, going across your finger, it kind of rubs it raw a little bit. So I'm surprised that this is called a baby yarn. I want to make them again with the plush yarn up here and see if I like it a little better. I also think my cone is a little squatty, so maybe I didn't push enough stuffing down in, but look how cute the cherry is on the top. I just think that is the cherry on top. That is the finishing touch. So I do want to make more of him. Wonder Crochet ice cream cone. All right, so the last true plushie that I made in May, he's been sitting behind me, and he's the dragon by Knotting Hook Crochet. Knotting, Knotting Hook Crochet. Look at his little dragon face. Okay, so there's his little chest and front feet with his little toenails. All right, so look at this tail. That is separately. You crochet it, stuff it, sew it on. But check out these wings. Look at the wings. I just can't get over how pretty they are. And they're just chains. Well, I mean, single crochet rows. And then there's increases and decreases. And then you make them shorter and shorter as you go. But look how pretty that makes them. And they kind of stay where they're supposed to. They don't flop or anything. They just kind of stay like that. And his little ears have picot stitches on the end that it's just a little extra touch. I think he's also got the little nostrils that are, you just do, I don't remember actually if you do these afterwards, if you just sew them in, or if if they're like double crochet. I don't remember. But you start this guy right here with the magic ring, and as you go out, you already have the legs done, and you attach the legs, and then there's a few stitches, attach a leg, a few stitches, attach a leg. And that sounds to me, and this pattern just, it looks complicated. I mean, look at the curve of the neck and the shaping. It looked really complex to me, but it's not. It's really not. In this pattern, she has photographs for every step of the way to follow. I don't know if she has a video tutorial. For some reason, I'm thinking she does. That's connected to this pattern, but again, don't quote me on that. So, you know, you do have to sew. You have to sew the legs, and then you go up to the neck. So like this is all one piece, and then you crochet the head and attach it. Is that right? Yes. Oh, and then on the back, there's a couple of options. You can either do the surface bobble stitches, which is what I did, all the way down the tail, or there's an option to do a stripe, a single stripe. So this is Parfait Chunky. That's what pattern calls for. This color is Rain, and I think that's Peacock. I'll have to check. I'm not positive about that. But I want to make this darling little dragon in every color combination of yarn that I have. We're down to the last 4 things I made in May. And I recently got bit by the lovee bug. So I made all 4 of these are Mama Made Minis, knotted lovees. So the first one I made was Mini Maeve Mouse, and she is pretty tiny. There's her little knotted legs where you just sew a big long skinny leg and then tie it in a knot. And a little pink tail, a little pink mouse tail. And I did go ahead and give her some sleepy eyes. Her nose is just like 2 stitches of pink plush yarn, and then her little ears. And I just love her cute little face. So this one is, in the name, Mini. And I bought this pattern separately. I bought this pattern from Etsy, and I think I might have paid $8 for it, which she is so adorable. I think it's worth it. And if you're not familiar with lovees, their body is unstuffed so that little baby hands can grab and hold on to it. Totally worth the money I paid for the pattern. But the next 3 that I made were from the book. Now this is Mama Made Minis Knotted Lovees book. I got this on Amazon for I think $17.95 maybe. And there's 16 lovey patterns in here. So there's all the ones you see on the front plus more. And there's lots of extras in here, like how to assemble all the different loveys. They have a section for how to embroider the eyes, which I did on the next lovey I'll show you. But I think this is a bargain for the amount of patterns you get for the price. So I bought that, and I made 3 from the book. And this one is Rye Rabbit. And he is a medium-sized lovey. You can see in comparison how much bigger he is than Mini Maeve. But again, there's his knots, and I love how there's a color change for his feet right underneath the knot. Oh, he's got a little tail. And then I love the color change too at the top of the ears. That's just a fun little detail that I probably wouldn't have thought of. Now, here's his face. Okay, he's got the little bunny shaped face. His nose is just 2 stitches of plush yarn. So here's the eyes. And these eyes, it took me an hour. That may have been per eye, I don't recall. But I followed the instructions in the book, and I think they turned out cute. I think they're okay. Maybe a little on the small side, but they're passable for him. I just need to practice. I don't feel confident in my embroidery skills, so I love him anyway. Rye Rabbit, the lovey. Now, the next one I have not attempted any eyes yet. This is Forest Fox, and poor Forest doesn't have his eyes yet. Can't see anything. But look at his little fox face. I love the attention to detail that they put in these, because that just looks so much like a fox to me. I did go ahead and do his nose because that was like 3 stitches, but he's got a little gray tip on his ears. Knots, also color change underneath. And then I love his tail, because it's not just like a tube. It's got this little shape to it right there that gives it a little interest. So Forest, I'll get around to doing your eyes at some point. Okay, this is the last lovey I made, and the last item I crocheted in March. It's another knotted lovey from Mama Made Minis from the book, and it's Eve's the Yeti. I think it's Eve's. It's Y-V-E-S. It's a French name, I think. Eve's the Yeti. I love his little, well, his kind of big nose right there. His little big monster nose. He's got little baby horns, cute little ears, and he's got lots of color changes in his arms, which was kind of tedious, but I think that's what makes him so cute, is all the little color changes, his little stripes. And then you've got little bobble stitch toenails also on his hands and his feet. I guess they would not be toenails if they're on his hands, but anyway. So there he is from the back. He's got his little knots. And you can see that this arm is different from this one because I ran out of this dark gray. So instead of playing yarn chicken, I just decided I'm gonna do a little pop of color on his other arm right there. And I made these color changes a little bit wider, and I had just enough to do this last little bit here. So Eve's Yeti. I'm really getting into all the loveys. Maeve may be my favorite, Mini Maeve. Okay, that is it for May. All of my May makes in one video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.